Today, what's up with that new Bioshock game? Also, did you remember there was supposed to be a new Bioshock game? This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, where it was a slow news week.
There's literally a Sonic story in this episode.
I know. It's sad how much he's slowing down in his old age.
He's 30! Somewhere around there. The very normally named Xbox ROG Ally X releases today, and according to its pre-release reviews, it is expensive. Journalists across the internet have expressed performance concerns and hardware opinions, but they all agree this thing costs $450 more than a Steam Deck. Also, the Ally is like if a Windows computer and an Xbox had a baby and for some dumb reason it needed to have the Xbox's last name even though it's got much more of its mother's traits, like being able to play things that a Windows PC plays, not necessarily everything that an Xbox plays, which of course has prompted us to say things like, holy shit, and why would anyone think an Xbox would play Xbox games? But maybe our take on this is backwards, and this is actually a huge win for the gaming community. Maybe we should all be proud that a $1,000 handheld gaming PC exists. Maybe whichever junior executive at Microsoft managed to swing the justification for this ticket price deserves the pitiful quarterly salary bump they're eyeing up. Or maybe the best thing to do with the rest of this segment is to stop engaging with a new landmark in avarice and just let Nellie's kid hijack it. After all, Nellie's kid is a gamer, and he loves it when things are unjustifiably fancy. And Minecraft recently dropped the Copper Age update, and now humble children can enjoy the meticulously organized rock collection of a full-time streaming personality without taking a Red Seal certification course in Hopper Dynamics. Instead, they just get to spawn an adorable copper golem who will pick up stray blocks and arrange them carefully into your trunks like a steamwork gnomish butler. Nellie's other kid even built a giant one to live in. Now, enjoy that thought, and don't ask me how well Minecraft runs on an Xbox Ally or the price of the Game Pass Class Trader. I mean, Game Pass Premium.
Did you know 2K was working on a new Bioshock game? It's possible 2K forgot they were working on a new Bioshock game, considering they announced it was being worked on in 2019. Technically, that's when they announced the formation of Cloud Chamber Studios and that Cloud Chamber would be working on the game. And if you think that's a long dev cycle, sources at the time told Kotaku that the game had been in the works in some form since 2014. So, always a sign of a healthy game. Anyway, we know it's not been going well since the game failed an internal review back in August, whatever that means, and are now reducing the size of the development team to focus on this work and give the game more time in development, according to 2K in a statement to staff. A change in leadership is also typical of these cases, and indeed, Rod Ferguson, formerly of Blizzard, is being given the reins and presumably some marching orders along the lines of, would you kindly get this game out the door? According to Polygon, Ferguson is known as something of a closer in gaming, and indeed, in a 2020 interview with VG247, he plainly states, quote, I like the process of shipping. We assume he doesn't mean that in the AO3 way, but who knows what he does with his spare time, go off king. With his work hours, he has carried Gears of War across the line, later returning to the series reboot and Gears 5, and that's before his time at Blizzard, where he got the similarly beleaguered Diablo 4 out the door, adding to his list of troubled projects that needed someone to say, everybody just shut up for a second, have we tried finishing the game? A role he also had when working on Bioshock Infinite. So, I guess behind every big daddy, but behind, also Ken Levine hasn't been involved in this series for ages. And, I mean, if anyone was Bioshock's big, it would be Ken, I suppose. Every big, well, I just hope they make a game and don't lay off too many people.
Who here loves a softball interview with an executive that's also a barely disguised promotion? And who loves softball interviews where the executive seems like they might be a little on edge? In just such an interview on Riot news site Sheep Esports, Riot's global head of music, Maria Egan, answered some pretty easy questions with answers that, if I were in Riot's PR department, it would make just a bit of poo come out. When asked, how do you view the position of Riot Games in the broader entertainment industry as a company, Egan answers, well, I'm biased, but I think we're in a very exciting position. We have two of the best IPs in the world. The League of Legends universe is extraordinary. It's like a Pandora's box full of incredible corners, characters, and worlds. You can go really deep into just one character like Jinx, and there are still over 160 others you haven't even explored. It's an incredible, multi-generational, 100-year IP that could go on forever because it's so deep and so well crafted. Whoa, Big Rig, gear down. Are you absolutely certain that you meant to describe League of Legends as Pandora's box? You know, the mythical source of all evil and suffering in the world, a Hellenistic theodicy, aka the vindication of God, the rationalization of the presence of malevolence and pain in a universe that was created by an omnipotent deity? Perhaps you meant the Horn of Almathea, the Cornucopia, the Horn of Plenty, a symbol of abundance, overflowing with fruit, flowers, grain, and nuts. Everyone likes being fed. Everyone dislikes rummaging around in Pandora's box. Also, recognizing that Pandora's box is an augment doesn't really clarify the statement either, because that's not what it does. Also, are you sure you meant to say go really deep into Jinx? How deep? Egan then described Riot as the Taylor Swift of gaming, which... No, The Sims is the Taylor Swift of gaming because it can't stop re-releasing old content as new purchases. But... to be fair to Egan, she does give much more disciplined answers to other questions. When the interviewer asks her to comment on Riot Global Brand Manager Andres Serro's statement that the world's theme song does not generate a return on investment but is instead a celebration for the fans, Egan gives a very polite and oblique explanation of what an advertisement is. And when asked a question she wasn't immediately prepared for, Egan gave a canned answer to a related question before turning it back on the interviewer to gain more context, time, and space to think. It was a textbook example of keeping one's cool. I would have just said, what the fuck? But interviews of this kind are, regardless of topic, a mode of advertising, and therefore it is our holy duty as agents of the universe to not give them a moment's peace. And if you're as big as Taylor Swift, you can take a little heat. So that brings me to Egan's answer to Sheep Esports' very generous question about the entertainment value of the world's anthem. Egan said this year's song, Sacrifice, is about that sort of struggle and what you have to give up to be the best. And that's obviously in any sport, but particularly for our pros, that feeling of you sacrificing a normal life. You sacrifice relationships, often to climb to the top. And so just honoring that struggle then, there's this sort of thematic enforcement that it does. And then there's the immunity moment. It's a memory. It's a container. That is both worthy and fucked up, and I don't think you're supposed to admit that you're valorizing that. So, in conclusion, it's extremely funny to watch a gaming executive realize in real time that there's no management standard English word for please, for the love of God, stop talking. But at least we can refer to League of Legends as a self-described Pandora's box for the rest of time.
It's Sonic's whatever, and whatever is left to do at this point. He's got bling, and a ring, and so many shoes. A shiny new racing game just came out. Wait, that's perfect. Let's put Sonic in a car. My car, your car, everyone's car. Starting immediately, you can add Sonic the Hedgehog as a sidekick voice in the Waze app. Sonic can now chime in with pithy bon mots about driving forward, turning corners, and avoiding spike traps. 3 very normal things that modern drivers encounter on our Mad Max roads. Ooh, the roundabout on Sinclair Road is almost done? Hell yeah, I've been bothering the city council about that for months. Anyway, the press release coos, quote, Sonic is cool, speedy, and unbeatable, an ace combination for a travel companion who's on the lookout for new adventures. Adventures? Waze, I'm not on the lookout for adventure. I'm trying to get to the post office to collect my package before they put it back in the delivery van. I don't gotta go fast. I gotta get to the grocery store with my kid in the back seat at a reasonable speed. This collaboration is the latest addition to the Racing Around the World campaign, in which Sonic Team is celebrating the upcoming 35th anniversary of Sonic with a series of events and tie-ins. Just don't tell Beej about the 35th. He's got a whole thing going with the 30th, and we consider it enrichment for him.
You know, one of these days it's going to be Sonic's 40th anniversary, and then I think we probably all need to have a lie down.
Oof.
Should we tell Beej?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I suppose he likes surprises.
No.
Yeah. Coming up, following fan pushback, Capcom is reviewing the details of making the Street Fighter Finals a pay-per-view event, and have said they are currently considering adjusting the price, which should be enough of a non-answer to keep people quiet until they decide to do it anyway. That Waze thing seems so annoying.
I don't want whimsy in my navigation.
No, I don't want to be like, ooh, watch out for Spectra. It will be amusing the first time you say it.
Yeah. It'll be funny once.
It will
maybe.
be so annoying every other time after that. And it's like, no, it's fine. We're using AI to generate these prompts. It's like, I don't need you to boil a lake to tell me how to get to the grocery store while making up fake bullshit. Oh my God.
Maybe we're lucky in that we live somewhere where, like, it's the same to get from, like, our home to the grocery store is the same every time, that it's not, like, constantly like, oh, today there's traffic here, so you need to take this massive detour and get on this freeway and then go to a different county. Or
Yeah.
I think this stuff is all for people who live in Southern California.
So weary.
Not to peel back the curtain too much, but Beach wrote that story.
Yes.
You may be able to pick up also that Nelson wrote the story
About his children playing Minecraft.
And the Xbox ROG Ally X, which is the more expensive, more fully featured of the two handheld PCs that were
heard it on
released.
Teams.
God. The other one is merely the Xbox ROG Ally, which is not as powerful and no one cares about it.
Is it a Steam Deck, essentially?
Yeah, basically.
But it runs Teams.
Except it's running Windows instead of the Steam OS. So it doesn't run as well, mostly.
I don't even like running Windows when I have to run Windows. Like, I don't like running Windows on my PC. I certainly don't want it on my handheld. And then that's an actual provided Minecraft screenshot. So thank you Nelson and Nelson's other kid in this case. And then you may also be able to pick up on that Cameron wrote the League of Legends interview story, because as Paul pointed out, there is shoulder graphics of classical art, but also, to be fair to Cameron, that executive did call League of Legends a Pandora's box.
Yes,
which can't be what she meant.
Well, I mean, I guess she meant the League of Legends item, but like,
I think she meant it's full of stuff. I think that's I think her understanding of Pandora's box is that there's lots of things in it, and I think that is
like all of the evils of the world.
No, I don't. But she doesn't know that.
That's the very famous part. Is that that Pandora was tricked into opening the box and it was bad.
That should be the famous part. I'm saying I think all she knows is full of things.
It was full of like those snakes that go.
Imagine Pandora opening the box and then just like just full of fabric snakes labeled syphilis.
Yeah,
you know? And only hope remained. And then I wrote the other one. I can't even remember. You do this too, right? Where it's like you're done recording a podcast or one of these, and then everything just shunts out of your brain.
It's gone.
Yeah, Bioshock. That's what it was. That's what I
didn't know there was a new Bioshock game coming? Question mark.
I mean, there isn't. Like there is. There's supposed to be, but functionally there is not.
Right.
Apparently, it was early August that the stories came out that it had like failed an internal review because executives didn't like the narrative, which either means
that it was too good.
The narrative was too good, or was dog balls. It really could go either way.
I bet it was too good. I bet they're like, this might be a little spicy for today's day and age. It's like, oh, heaven forbid our art say something.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Release the director's cut, you cowards.
Honestly, the thing that bugs me the most is that the logo for Cloud Chamber Games that we saw in the story, that's not a cloud chamber. It's a picture of smokestacks. It's like a face with some smokestacks, but the cloud chamber is a very specific thing, and that's not what that is. I want to see some neutrinos, goddammit.
Those are harder to draw.
Okay. Yes, I suppose. I had forgotten that the that this Xbox handheld was coming out until yesterday I started seeing a bunch of reviews of people going like, yeah, it's not bad. A Steam Deck is like half the price, so
I don't know why you want this, but
yeah. Well, it's especially because people were like, when the Switch 2 came out, and they announced that and its specs and its price, people were like, why would I want that that only plays Nintendo games when I could just have a Steam Deck that plays anything on Steam, right? And I haven't seen that same kind of discourse about the Ally, I think, to its detriment, because no one cares. I think that the Switch 2 came out and it was a big deal, and so there was a lot of discussion about it, and then people had to be contrarian for whatever reason.
People had to rush in and give their negative opinions for the views.
Yeah, whereas they announced the Ally and people were like, oh, okay. Which is worse.
I'm going to offer anybody who's a real contrarian a special deal.
Ooh.
If you go over to patreon.com and give us $5 a month.
You could give less. If more of you gave smaller amounts than that on balance, that, if everyone who's listening to this did like $2.
$2.
Huge.
If our Patreon doubles, it's possible.
It's possible. That'd be amazing.
I think, but it's important because I'll be torpedoing my career I will put out some special videos just for you where I give you the real opinions.
Because we're so guarded on this show normally. That's not binding.
Look, I've got opinions on bay leaves that would make chefs' heads do something. You don't know. You'll never find out unless we get that big money.
I love this. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Also,
Graham didn't know I was doing this, so I can tell how nervous he is next to me. There's a palpable aura of terror radiating from this man. It's great.
Hey.
And from Paul too. I don't want to.
I don't want to mess with the Bay Leaf Consortium. Those guys are serious.
You don't even know what I want to say? No one does.
No, wait. What was I supposed to do?